Well, most of us have a posture problem. We're hunched over our desks or smartphones, putting plenty of strain on our necks and backs. But you can reverse the damage and set yourself straight with these tips from strength coach and fitness writer Lee Boyce, who joins me now. Lee, good to see you as always.
Good to see you.
I feel like I'm extra worried about my posture here this morning, but
well, you know, we brought Skelly here. Just good to shout out to Humber College to thank them for letting me use this little apparatus here.
Okay.
What it is here, we've got to think about what's going on in the front of the body versus the back of the body and how that's going to affect things like our shoulder health. So there's a relative balance that we have to have between the front side of the body's muscles and the ones on the back side to create good posture.
Okay, is that the biggest contributor to poor posture? Is just the fact that our back muscles are a little out of shape, they're fatigued, or?
It is, but also we have to think about our genetics too, right? If we look at our mid-back, it's called our thoracic spine, our mid-back can start to curve, and that can affect what's going on here on your shoulder blade and pull it over, and that's going to prevent us from being able to lift our arm over our head and other things like that. So if there's tightness on the front side of our body from that slouching, there could be a relative weakness on the rear side of our body from the same thing.
Okay, how can poor posture affect your workout?
Well, it could affect our workout because if we're doing a movement that's implying that we're supposed to stay balanced, for example, a squat or a deadlift or some kind of a press exercise, if we don't have proper balance to begin with, it's just going to exacerbate the problem and it's going to create more of an issue for us. So we want to create that balance for ourselves first by creating our proper movement and learning to move well, and then getting stronger while we're moving well.
You got a few exercises you could suggest to people that would improve their posture, help them out?
Yeah, so I also brought these two things here, and the first thing we want to think about is tissue quality. So I brought this here. It's called a foam roller. And what a foam roller is something that can actually sort of create a little bit of manipulation for our muscle tissue. If we roll our muscles along our back while we're lying on the ground or on a wall or something like that, in order to create that extension that we have to stand tall. Now this has a lot of surface area, so the other thing that I brought is a lacrosse ball, which is a little bit smaller to get into the smaller regions like behind the arm, the armpit and so on, up high on the shoulder blade area as well. Those are things that are going to really help us to get the proper tissue quality so that our muscles will take to exercise a little bit better and our spine will actually stay taller.
I cannot recommend any more of these two things you've just mentioned. I started foam rolling a couple of years ago, and you're right, with the lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, something hard to get into those problem areas, it really makes a huge difference.
It does. And just for people as a little general guideline as well, when we look at our posture from the side, it's a good thing that I have Skelly here because of the fact that we got to look at the relationship between our collarbone and our shoulder, right? If our shoulder is located in front of the collarbone, that usually is indicative of bad posture, and we want to be able to pull that back. This is what it should really look like, in alignment or even slightly behind.
All right. Should we be paying attention to our posture at all times, or do we run the risk of maybe, I think when people do that, they overcorrect?
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's a big misconception about posture and that we should be always walking around like this all the time and sitting as tall as we can as well. And that's not realistic because everybody is going to naturally slouch a little bit. What's more important is that we have our back muscles strong and responsive so we could put it into the right position when we need to, when we're exercising and when we're walking around. There's a responsiveness there.
All right. And just watch your time on, say, smartphones and that. If you're hunched over all day long, take a break from it.
Of course. You know, we don't want to be perpetuating the same positions all the time. Of course, we want to be able to stay open as well. So there's got to be a balance there.
All right. Standing up and delivering as always, our fitness expert, Lee Boyce. Lee, great to see you. Thanks.
Good to see you.